Checking the HC-3000. To make sure the machine is properly installed and working correctly, first turn the machine on using the power switch. Now open the taps. Press the Prepare button and make sure that when there is no water in the disinfectant tank or the trace element tank, the machine produces a warning. With the tanks filled, the preparation procedure will commence. By default, the equipment is programmed to set the temperature to 37 degrees Celsius. Change the temperature and time settings and check that they work correctly. Vary the flow to make sure this is working correctly. This water will have been previously filtered. During the preparation session, press liters to check the total volume of water in the machine and the liters used in the last session. After a colon hydrotherapy session, check that the liters of additional water used are shown. Once the desired temperature has been reached, the machine will allow the irrigation session to proceed. Attach the irrigation and evacuation tubes to the machine and the speculum. Press Irrigate and Fill and notice that water starts flowing along the irrigation tube, filling the view tube. Press Quick Discharge and Slow Discharge to check that they are functioning. With Irrigate and Fill turned on, test the pressure alarm by blocking the irrigation tube until pressure reaches 100 millibars, at which point the machine should shut off irrigation and automatically turn on the Quick Discharge function. The view tube will empty. With Irrigate and Fill turned on, test the temperature alarms. Increase the temperature to over 40 degrees Celsius. Then reduce the temperature to below 22 degrees. Make sure the alarm shuts off irrigation and automatically evacuates the patient. With Irrigate turned on, press the button again and check that irrigation stops. The Irrigate button should flash. With Irrigate and Fill turned on, test the trace element function. Check that the trace element liquid mixes with the irrigation water. Press the ozone button to check that water flowing through the irrigation tube is mixed with ozone. The smell of the water coming out of the irrigation tube will indicate whether or not it is being ozonized. Check the contrast function by pressing the contrast button. Use the temperature option to program the two different temperatures required, and the time option to set the duration of each temperature. Run the equipment for long enough to make sure that it functions for the correct interval of time at the first selected temperature, and then changes to the second selected temperature, and so on until completing the contrast program. Press Sample and check that sample extraction works properly. Finally, check the Stop button, checking that the irrigation session ends, allowing the cleaning session to begin. After the irrigation session is over, press the Clean button and check that the ends of the cleaning and sampling lines are functioning properly. If either is not connected, a warning will be displayed and cleaning will not proceed. If both are connected, cleaning and disinfection of the equipment will proceed. This takes 18 minutes and is fully automatic. Then start again by pressing Preparation. Check whether the liter counter has worked properly. Check the remote control too to see if it works properly. Operating the HC-3000. Turn the machine on using the power switch. Now open the taps. Press the Prepare button and make sure there is disinfectant in the disinfectant tank and trace elements or water in the trace element tank. If everything is in order, the machine will begin heating to 37 degrees Celsius by default, in preparation for starting the patient's irrigation session. Set the desired flow of the previously filtered water stream. While the selected temperature is being reached, this will depend on the setting chosen by the therapist, check on the liter counter and adjust the duration of the irrigation. The bed should be situated 3 to 5 centimeters above the waist outlet. When the patient is lying down and ready, open the irrigation kit, which contains an irrigation tube, an evacuation tube, a speculum, an obturator and lubricant. Insert the lubricant-covered speculum in the patient's rectum. In this case, use a balloon to represent the colon. Next, connect the irrigation and evacuation tubes to the speculum and to the machine. When the desired temperature is reached, turn on irrigate so that water begins to flow towards the patient. Entry and exit of water into and out of the patient's colon are controlled by the 2 discharge options and the fill function. Note that if the temperature goes higher than 40 degrees Celsius or lower than 22 degrees, or if pressure is higher than 100 millibars, the machine will automatically shut off irrigation and evacuate the patient. Trace elements may be introduced from the trace element tank into the colon as part of the session by selecting the trace element option during irrigation and filling. If wished, the ozone option may be used during therapy. The machine also allows the programming of temperature contrasts using the contrast option. During the session, samples may be taken for laboratory analysis. When the therapy is over, the speculum and the irrigation and evacuation tubes must be removed and disposed of before commencing cleaning and disinfection of the machine. To clean and disinfect, connect the cleaning obturator and the sampling hose. Press the machine's Clean button. Cleaning and disinfection will commence, lasting 18 minutes, after which time the equipment is ready for a new session.